Right, we live, we live, we live. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Pep Talk UK. Pro Beez, delighted to be joined by esteemed trainer, Dave Coldwell. How are you?
Very good, thanks, mate. How's yourself?
Long day, mate. We were talking off air. I don't know which one I prefer. Would I prefer 8 rounds of sparring or homeschooling? At the moment, I think I'll go for the sparring.
Depends who you spar with.
Oh, not Chisora. Chisora or Lorraine Richards, okay. I'll take the homeschooling, you know? So, look, Happy New Year to you. I know boxing hasn't had a great start. We have to wait until mid-Feb before we get underway. But Eddie has talked about some announcements on Friday. And without letting the cat out of the bag, is there anything you want to tell us?
No, listen, I'm same as everybody else, waiting on the confirmation. I know, I've got a couple of people hanging on dates we're looking for. So yeah, I'm just waiting for confirmation of dates, really.
You know what? It's like, this I think probably was my biggest mistake. Getting you on the show just as Man United went top. Like I thought,
mate,
damn,
your time is impeccable. Your time is impeccable. I'm sure the last time we spoke, you was having a bit of banter about the fact that United weren't doing very good. So last night it was just just a 1-0 win, but it is a significance of going 3 points clear. After 17 games, 3 points clear. The last time Man United were top of the league after 17 games was 2013, I think it was, and they won the league. Hey,
wow.
Hey, 2013 or 2014, I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, 2013, I'm sure it is, and they won the league.
Wow. If that happens, I think I need to play the national lottery, mate. Because
listen, I don't know how United are top of the league, but they are. They're putting a good run. They've before it was all about the away victories, but they sustained that. But now they've brought in some home form. I think they won the last 3 or unbeaten in the last 4 home games. So it's good. It's good.
All right, guys, get your questions in. Dave Coldwell's in the building. Happy New Year to you, Ra, also as well. All right, Dave, we've got to talk about your stable. You're building. We talked about Manchester United, right? I'm kind of feeling like you're moving like Sir Alex Ferguson, with the Bugsby Babes.
A little rebuild job, isn't it?
Yeah, you're building like the young stable of fighters coming through, talented guys. So, what's the whole idea behind, having a group of young fighters? Is it so you can kind of mold them in the way that you want to?
No, it's just to keep me young. I'm 45 now. I need to surround myself with younger people to keep myself young. No, do you know what it is? I've only ever asked one fighter to come to my stable to train. One fighter that became available, and I'd asked him. Funny enough, I didn't get him, but everybody else that's come to me, from your Bellew, your Ryan Rhodes, your Kell Brooks, your Chisoras, everybody like that, they've come to me. I don't see myself as like a lot of coaches. They have loads and loads of fighters, and that's what they want is loads. I did that years and years ago. Twitter generation don't remember that, but I started off with journeyman fighters, then airy title level fighters, and so on, and then I was promoting to build my own stable of fighters up that I was training, and then I ended up having Ryan Rhodes and Kell Brook winning British titles, Ryan European, and fighting Canal for WBC Worlds. But then when Ryan retired, I stopped training fighters. That was it. That was me, because I wasn't seeing my kids. When Bellew asked me to come back, then there was the accident that happened with Jamie McDonald. I ended up training him. Obviously, his brother came with him. And then Pricey asked me to help him, and I didn't want to at first, but he's my mate. So I was like, okay, well, he came on board. Jordan came to me asking me, because I felt sorry for him and the situation that he was in. So I'm not, I'm not somebody that's pinpoint, oh yeah, I'd like to work with him, I'd like to work with him. If somebody comes to me and I think they're going to be a great fit in the gym, personality-wise, with family and things like that, that I'm going to get on with, and then it fits, and then I say yeah, and then we go, and that's what's happened with Jordan, Hopey, and Lerone. I've got three guys there that it's not a boxing coach fighter relationship. It's like family, we're all very, very similar mentalities, laid back, but very, very focused, very, very hardworking, and also family orientated as well. So we get on really well. We've got there's a lot of there's no. Do you know what? As you get older, and when things start happening in life, you can't be dealing with stress and chasing stress and chasing, make sure that people are on it and making sure that people are doing it right. And when he leaves my gym, is he dieting? Is he cheating? He's doing it. I haven't got time for that shit. I did all that years ago, and I don't need that in my life. And the guys that I work with are consummate professionals, and they deserve all the success that they get. And it's a great vibe in the gym, unbelievable talent in the gym, and I'm loving it. I really am.
All right, we're going to get to the questions. All right, so Ra has said, is Jordan going to rematch Tanoki before moving on? Which world champion can he beat? So yeah, Tanoka. I remember I was there that night. And obviously it was a shock to everyone, but he's bounced back in a good way.
Yes, listen. Every fighter, part of the build, has to come through some difficult nights. I know Mayweather didn't lose, but I'm sure when he had the rough night with Castillo, he learned from that, made him a better fighter. I'm sure that when he had the rough night with Maidana, he came back from that. He learned from that. It made him a better fighter. The spar with that was all over about Spadafora beating his arse in sparring. I'm sure because he had rough moments. He learned from that. Fighters have to learn and go through tough moments. Now, the funny thing is that I was speaking to the guys in the gym, and somebody said to one, I don't know if it was Lerone or if it was Jordan. No, it was Lerone, I think it was. We're talking about Jordan and the loss to Tanoka, and it was like because Jordan didn't tell me what was wrong with him. I was very angry with him at the time. I was very pissed off with him at the time because he had the build up and everything, and Eddie was raving about it, and everybody was on him. And then since the loss, he's a forgotten man. It's like he's not spoke about by Eddie now and things like that. And it's like, would you turn back if you could turn back the clock? Would you have done anything different? Do you know what? No, because the funny thing is despite what it's done to stall his career and how he's the forgotten man and everything, he's under the radar now. Actually, in the gym, the progression and the talent and the ability that he has now got, and also on top of the loss, that's a contributing factor. But a major factor was when he was ill, and he had this thyroid issue where we thought he wasn't going to fight again. Since he's come back from that, the kid's just gone to another level. I swear to God, he is fucking. I watch him in sparring. I watch what he does. Everything that we do on the floor to get whatever we're doing, he is trying. He's doing in the gym, and he's doing it so consistently now that everybody that spars with him will tell you he's quality, mate. He's gone up levels, and that is all part of the mental process. Because he went through a dark period, the loss, then the illness, dark period, and I don't know if it's kind of like when a weight comes off your shoulder and you stop over analysing your mistake. Because before, it would spar great for 2 minutes, 50 seconds of a round. It might make a couple of mistakes within 10 seconds period of a round. You come back to corner and you can see him over analysing and being pissed off about himself over the 10 seconds, not actually appreciating what he was doing that was great, that was good, that's then going to build his confidence up to give him more confidence to do more and more and more. Now he doesn't do that. Yes, we acknowledge when you make mistakes and things like that, but he doesn't hammer himself about it. He doesn't worry about making mistakes, and it's allowed him to have the freedom to expand and to improve and have different attributes to his game now. And mate, he's brilliant now. And I just want the opportunity. I just want, you know, he's beaten Ryan Doyle, he's beaten Jason Cunningham, he's beaten Reece Bellotti. They're good wins at domestic level.
Right, yeah.
So I want him to, because we're in a pandemic. We don't know when we're gonna fight. You know, you've got to, when you get your slot, and if you're lucky now, you're getting 2 fights a year. You can't stay still. So for his talent and his ability and his age now, he's 26 going on for 27. I can't have him staying still at domestic level. So I want to take the gambles and take the steps forward, because if we're not going to get 4 fights now, where 2 of them I can use at domestic, then a bit of international, then we step up. Now you've got to jump straight up. You've had good quality fights at domestic. Progress now. We've been saying for a long time, for a year now, that we wanted, because before he got beat, we was wanting the European title, because that's the kind of avenue that he wants to go. So we like the European or fringe world level, you know, Manny Robles, people like that. I've put in with people like that, you know, someone that's fought for world title, lost for the world title, that sort of level. I put him with guys like that and get the experience at those in the couple of fights that he's going to get per year. And then he gets, you know, a ranking fights, and then he gets an opportunity. That's how I need to build him now, because he's the ability-wise. I need to see how far this kid can go, because honestly, talent and ability that he's showing now, the kid that even after Snooker, we went to America and we went and he sparring out there in Manny Robles' gym and in the wild card with Freddie Roach's gym. Even then, he was so much better. But now, compared to that, I was saying today in the gym, I was looking at the videos from sparring in LA, and I'm looking at him there, and I'm seeing him now, and he's a completely different fighter. You know, it just needs, it needs to fight. It needs to fight now. That's it. And you know, unfortunately, we're in a pandemic, but it's like what I explained to him is what the problem is that we have as fighters. Is if somebody like a Lomachenko can achieve what he's achieved, and then he gets beat, and nobody fucking mentions him again. They mention everybody else apart from him.
Yeah.
What chance have you got? You know, it's like with Eddie. If you get beat, that's it. Moves on to the next one. That's it. That's the promoter. That's how a promoter is. You know, and that's not knocking. That's what every promoter is. But the talent that's there, and what people have got to realize is so many good fighters have been beat and come back. You know, so many good fighters. You can't just write them off. Look at the individual, and you know that's where Jordan is, and it's a difficult one. It's just about being patient and just keep going, and we'll take what the opportunity comes if it's the right opportunity. You know, and like I said, it's time. I'm letting off the leash now. At featherweight, I'll let him off the leash, because we have to take those leaps, those jumps.
All right, interesting year ahead, definitely. All right, Dave. Raw is saying Hopey Price versus Dennis McCann in 2022. Who wins? Probably won't happen with the 2 different promoters, but
yeah, but and I don't know the situation. Yeah, I don't really take any notice of other kids on the prospects. Dennis McCann, I rate. I think he's a very good kid. But I'll tell you now, Hopey Price is special. And again, I'm very realistic about my fighters. I as a coach, I'm very, very realistic about them. But in those 2 kids, in Jordan and Hopey, mate, there's serious talent there. And Hopey Price at 20 years old, if he's brought on now, I want him to. But obviously, that's changed now, because the whole conversation when I took him to Eddie was, listen, he's 20 years old. I want him to just develop, get fights, learn under the lights, and then we'll take it. You know, take the L plates off. First year is supposed to have 7 fights in the year, and then we move on. But pandemic hits. He's had 3 fights. It is what it is. But you look at his opponents, the positive. I want positive records. I'm not interested in guys that have lost more than the one. I want positive records. He's had positive records. His last fight, he boxed a guy that knocked out a welterweight, a guy that's naturally bigger, somebody who you wouldn't actually fight for his third fight for a 20-year-old, but because of the situation we're in, fight camp, it's got to be real fights. Okay, let's go. He surely can handle that. Now we're looking at an opponent for his next fight, and again, it's people that are fighters, not journeymen that are just going to come and try and survive. It's people that come in trying to win, because this kid's talented, and the people that he's sparring with, Jordan regular, obviously, he sparred with the likes of Lee Wood, he sparred Raza Hamza, he sparred bigger guys like Lee Appleyard. But the sparring with Galahad.
I was there that day.
Where he's learned a lot. Yeah. Well, he's sparred with him quite a few times now, and
he did well that day.
Is invaluable. You know what I mean? And the best thing about this kid is that it's like, I'll be honest, first spar with Galahad, it was rough for him. It was rough because Galahad's a bullying and rough and physical. But his mentality, to Hopey's mentality is, all right, cool, okay, I understand that. This is what I can make better. Not like, oh, I don't want to spar with him again. Just like, when we're going again, right, cool. There you go. And you're seeing the development in him. And because that sparring with Barry is invaluable. I remember being at that gym, and I would watch the fighters that would spar with people like Johnny Nelson and Bomber and Naz, and watch as they're coming through, them prospects, and they get it rough, but they keep coming back. And the knowledge that these top level fighters and higher level fighters pass on to their kids is priceless. But the kids have got to have the mentality to absorb it and to be willing to have the rough nights, rough days, and then all of a sudden then it's not so rough, and then you can handle yourself, and you're doing well in the sport, And it's like when Hopey sparred in LA, I knew about his mentality when we sparred in LA. We sparred in LA, and he sparred first day at Freddie Roach's gym. He sparred with Tucker Khan. Tucker Khan's a world level fighter, right? Hopey's not had a pro fight yet. He's just some young kid, 19-year-old kid, and the first day was very physical. It was a bit like he'd used that experience with Barrett, but the first day was very physical. The second day, first day was like man versus boy. The second day was like, okay, this is level. The third day sparring, Hopey was great, to the point where Tucker Khan come into the training and said, man, this kid's ready for the pros. And then he sparred with other people, and he's got a great mentality. So the ability is there, and he's improving so much as a fighter, but the mentality is there. So you can let him off the leash a little bit quicker because he has got that mentality. He's very, very calm, very, very unshakable. The best mental attitude I ever worked around or saw or worked with was George Groves. George Groves he was ice cold, man. Ice cold. Nerves didn't get to him, nothing like that didn't impede his performance or anything like that. He was very, very ice cold. And I've not seen that since George until I started working with Hopey. Hopey Price has got that mentality. He's just unshakable. And he's a great, great talent. It really is. So, mate, as long as, please God, injuries, health, fights, going the right place, this kid's a world champion.
Wow. Okay. Wait, look, if Dave Coldwell says that, boy, I think you got to believe that 100%. Because as you said, you don't bullshit. You know what I mean? If a guy's
I'm pretty honest about my fighters, and like I said, I'm not rushing. I don't want to rush him. He's 20 years old. I'm talking about, when this kid's 23, I'm looking at, well, why can't this kid be a world level fighting for world titles at 23 years old? And then beyond that, the world's his oyster. As long as, and the best thing is, he's got a great family around him. So it's not like he's going to be one of these kids that kind of like just it goes to their head and starts lacking and things like that. No, he's got a great family around him. His dad backs him 100% with him, but he's backing without pressure, so that he doesn't feel the pressure of it. Oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. he's got everything in place. Everything in place. You know, he's got promoter in matchroom. So he's lucky, but his luck has come because of his talent and what he's done and how he's been, you know, before. All
right, guys, smash that like button. We've got Dave Coldwell in the building. Get your questions in. All right, Lady Chan. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. All right, Dave, do you see the point of Khan versus Brock, or has it passed its sell-by date? I actually would watch this, but I'll let you.
Listen, everybody will watch it when it's made. So what I'll say is, right now, I don't care. I don't care. I don't wish to talk about it because we've done this for what, 7 years, maybe more. I don't know. A long time we've done this. We've talked about it. Well, oh, who's gonna win? But oh, it's nearly gonna happen. Oh, is it gonna happen? Oh, they're talking. It's gonna happen then. It's gonna happen this summer. We've done that for years. I'm not interested anymore. When it's signed, when the fight is done, I will then be excited because even though they're both past it, they're not the same fighters, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that in a real way. Neither of them are as good as what they used to be. They both had great careers. They both had great talent, but don't do that because that'll break. The kitchen doors suck, and the daughter was about to put her foot through the glass. Not the smartest thing she's ever done for a smart kid. So they've both been talked about today. So when the fight happens, even though they're not as good as what they were, I still want to see it because it's just the talk and the back and forth. So you want to see who wins, don't you? So we'll see.
Yeah, you can see the loser would find it hard to come out their front door in the morning after the fight because they really hate each other that much. So that's why you'd kind of watch the fight because of the needle.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all about the needle. But I don't think it'll be as bad as what it would have been going back a few years because there's probably not as much expectation now as what there were then because they were both kind of like in the primes, and it'd be like, oh, who's the best? Now, even whoever wins now at this stage of career, that doesn't mean that they were the better man when they were both at the peak. It's more about who's got what left. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think the pressure is as much now because we kind of all know well, and whoever loses can turn around and say, yeah, but I'd have beat him in my prime. It's bullshit, but it's true. It's kind of true. Do you know what I mean? Because neither of them in their prime. It's kind of like not in such a bad way, but it's kind of like now. If let's just say if Roy Jones and Antonio Tarver fought now, and Roy Jones beat Tarver now, he can't puff his chest out and say, "I see, I'm the better man," because they're both old, well past the best. Do you know what I mean? So well, that's not really a good one because for me, Roy Jones weren't the same man after he come back down to light heavyweight. I still don't think Tarver beat the best Roy Jones, but it is what it is. You get my drift.
Yeah. All right, guys, smash that like button. Dave Coldwell in the build. You, mate, loads of questions to get through. Bloody hell. All right. Okay, you talked about prime. Here you go, right here. Do you think Tony Bellew can beat a prime David Haye?
Yeah. Yeah, and people can laugh all they want, but I just think that certain fighters know how to beat certain fighters, and I seen Haye when he was in his prime, when he was about to fight Klitschko, and in that period there, you know, and when I was a Haymaker, I seen David Haye when he was good, but yes, he had that explosive power and that speed, but technically, he's kind of always had the same sort of look about him as a fighter, you know. And I do. I think Bellew would beat him. People can say what they want, but I've kind of seen them both up close. So yeah.
In any way, did that kind of help with the two fights? Because obviously you were with the Haymaker camp before, David Haye before. Did that kind of help? Obviously, that inside knowledge is. There are
things when you see fighters sparring, you see fighters up close training, like you kind of You see, you know what they're good at and what they're not at. You know how they get their shots off and how they don't get their shots off. You see the spars behind closed doors where you see certain individuals given problems where they can't get the power shots off and things like that. And if you take away the big powerful right hand, you know, David was never much of a left hooker. Yeah, it was all geared towards getting the right hand off.
The haymaker,
always,
right? Yeah,
you know, yeah, it was always. And so if you look to kind of take that away, you can, you know, listen, it's opinions, boxing opinions, it's fantasy fights, it's mythical matchups. Don't mean shit. It's just my opinion from what I've seen and from the boxman. Then yeah, but listen, David A in his prime was a hell of a fighter, you know. So who knows?
The swag was there. The swag was there. I won't lie. The swag was there, 100%. All right. Okay. Jermaine Sterling. All right. You're probably not related to Raheem Sterling because Man City, I think, were winning last time I checked. But right. There I go again with the bad jokes. All right. Lerone Richards definitely looks like he's going to be a world-class fighter. But do you ever think he'll become a PPV attraction?
That's right now is did you think that Bellew would have been a pay-per-view attraction when he was fighting Babaji Safe, Danny McIntosh, Isaac Chilemba? Did you think that he would have gone to be a pay-per-view attraction? No. Did you think, you know, there are fighters that become pay-per-view attractions down the line where you would never have thought they were going to be pay-per-view attractions, you know? And also, it depends on the fights. You know, that right now, there is only one pay-per-view fighter, really, I think, in Britain, a legitimate pay-per-view fighter. I think. And that's AJ. AJ versus anybody is pay-per-view. Do you think I'm right there?
AJ is the marquee pay-per-view fighter.
Yeah, but everybody else, I would say, has to have a dance partner for it to be pay-per-view. So I know they're making pay-per-view, but legitimate for it to be worthy pay-per-view, then they have to be the right, you know, the right fights. But so I can't answer will Lerone be a pay-per-view fighter? Will he be in pay-per-view fights? Maybe so. But people are going on the fight that he had against the guy that just shut up shot and just tried to defend. He's trying to win. So you wouldn't have an opponent like that if Lerone was fighting for world titles, if Lerone was a top, because the guys are fighting for world titles, they're trying to win. Or if he's a champion, he's trying to win. If he's a challenger, he's trying to win. He's throwing hands. And when a fighter is trying to win, you will see the best of Lerone Richards. If a guy's just shutting up shop and just trying to defend, it doesn't matter who they are. It's a methodical sort of fight, especially if you're not an aggressive, I'm just going to overwhelm you and unload the kitchen sink type of fighter. You know, you gotta try and break them down and things like that, and that takes rounds and that takes experience. Lerone only had 13 fights. 13 fights now? Yeah, 13 fights I think it's now. You know, so he's still learning. He's still learning about breaking fighters down and things like that. You know, it's all part of an education. But you'll see the best of him when guys are trying to win.
Yeah, I must say there are some, like at world level, like Caleb Plant and Benavidez. I love those guys. Caleb Plant especially. That's someone that I really watch. I'm like, this kid.
Good fighter. Good fighter. But again, yeah. Lerone Richards, 13 fights. We're doing it. You know, he's won the British and Commonwealth. The Europeans next. Get the European. Get a defense to them, or fight international fights at that. You know, that world fringe world level ranking fighters, top 10, top 15 fighters. Then you're ready to go up there, unless an opportunity comes against somebody that you think you'd beat. You know, if it was it's off the top of my head, but if somebody come up where you think, well, that's a winnable fight, an opportunity is there. There you go. All right, let's do it. You know, but other than that, you try, if you can prepare, then you take the right steps.
Definitely, definitely, 100%. All right, H Money, my bro. Salute. Yes, my guy. All right. Okay. Raw again. All right. Raw's on fire tonight. Is there a rivalry of local support between your gym and Winkerbank and Still City? They're a bit far apart, though, isn't it? They're not that close.
No, we're literally 10 minutes away from each other. No rivalry as such. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I don't really care what goes off in other people's gyms. I'm not on the gossip grapevine and shit like that. I'm not really bothered. As long as my three are winning, that's what I'm bothered about. As long as my three are progressing, that's what I'm bothered about. Do I rate other fighters? Yes. I'm quite vocal about. I think Liam Williams is one of the most improved fighters in Britain. Doesn't get spoke about enough, and I think he's a really good fighter. I love watching Liam Williams. I love watching Liam Williams spar. When Billy Joe was down there, I was the same thing there. Like I said, I've spoke to you about Barry already. So I'm not uncomfortable about speaking and giving credit to the Winkerbank gym. Sonny Edwards, I really rate. I've already said that I think Dalton Smith, the best prospect to come out of Sheffield for a long time. So, do I sound like somebody who's got a rivalry with these other gyms? No, because what these kids are doing, the better that they can become, the more eyes on boxing, the more successful British boxing becomes, the more eyes on boxing, which helps the fighters that I've got and the fighters that I might have in the future as well, because more eyes are on boxing, the sport. Unless you're fighting my guys, I hope you win, and I wish the best for you. If you're fighting my guys, then I want you to get beat, obviously. That's different. But
speaking of gyms, go on. Yeah. Speaking of gyms, do you remember the first day I rocked up at your gym? Unannounced.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
2 years ago, yeah? Just rocked up.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
It's good job I like you, otherwise I'd have slung you out.
Dave was like, what are you doing here? You got to make an appointment, mate. You got to make an appointment. So it was, I don't know. You're just a hungry cat. I was just a hungry guy.
It's only because I remembered you from the shows. So that's otherwise when people just rock up. Then...
All right. Will Stokes, big up both of you. How many amateur fights do you think is ideal before turning pro, Dave? It will seem that more and more nowadays we see guys having very small amateur careers. Any merit in that?
It varies. You need some amateur experience for grounding, for understanding of what it's like, getting rid of that rawness, just for learning. Use it as an education. You don't have to be a Team GB superstar to make it in a professional game. That also means that just because you are a Team GB superstar doesn't automatically mean that you're going to make it in a professional game. You've seen the odd fighters come through where they've had a couple of white collars coming through, but the problem is as well is this kind of like trying to draw as much experience as they can from their early fights before they get let off the leash. They need the building right, but sparring with top pros will bring you on. If you look at sparring the right way, sparring will bring you on. But you need amateurs, and for me, you need some amateurs. Obviously, the highly decorated amateurs have got an advantage if they can adapt the style. If they stay amateur too long and they can't adapt the style, then that can be an handicap.
Right. Okay. Dave, you got quite a few questions. All right, guys, smash that like button. Dave Coldwell is here for the fans, reaching out, fans Q&A. All right, nice questions though, only nice questions. All right.
Wow, we're getting some bad ones.
No, there's been no bad ones yet. There's been no dirty ones yet.
This is definitely under your name, because if it was under my name, I'd be getting slated, man.
The trolls, yeah. All right, Lady Chan again. All right, remember, subscribe to Lady Chan's YouTube page. That's a friend of mine also as well, and she's quite active in supporting Pep Talk as well, so please support her channel. All right. Also, I'd like to get Dave's opinion where he places Eubank Jr. calling out Triple G. I think he's never ever reached his full potential. He bounced around a million promoters. Now he's 31.
He's not
Is it question of timing?
I think he was right in calling out Triple G. Just call him out. Call him out. He needs a big fight, doesn't it? But there's the guys, like, I know he's mentioned Liam Williams. I'd like to see Liam Williams and Chris Eubank Jr. Forget Triple G, because kind of not really done anything for that kind of fight yet. But a Liam Williams fight would be great. That'd be great.
I did see on IFL TV, he said that Liam Williams is a warm-up fight. Mate,
there you go. That's a good warm-up fight. It's a very good warm-up fight.
That's a little spice. Liam Williams is an absolute machine, mate.
Listen, boxing needs characters.
Yeah.
Boxing needs characters, and Eubank Jr. is a character, and you got to rate him for what he's done, because he's used the name to his advantage, the attitude, the mimicking of his dad, so to speak, and he's done it his way. He's made a lot of money out of the game, and he's achieved far more than what a lot of fighters will do, you know. But if he wants to take the next step, then he has to improve, and he's working with Roy Jones Jr., so I presume he's improving well. So I'm looking forward to seeing the adaptations, but like you said, he's 31 now, so he's not no young next gen sort of fighter. It has to be now, and he has to make his move. And you know, the teaming up with the Sauerlands is going to be good, because he will kind of like be their flagship sort of name in the UK market, so to speak. And it can only be good things for him, man. I expect to see him on, because Sauerlands and Matchroom have got a good relationship, so he'll probably end up being on Matchroom shows, which means he'll get the Matchroom hype and promotion behind him along with Sauerlands. So yeah, it's a good move for him all around. I just want to see him in some good fights now.
That Golovkin fight would be something. I think they were meant to fight years ago and it didn't happen, but Golovkin's credibility now. Yeah.
Golovkin's on the slide now as well, do you know what I mean? So
he's on. Okay, he's not what he used to be, but the power.
No. Yeah.
I've never seen someone hit pads in real life like how, you know, when you hear that boom, boom,
yeah,
boom. You know, Dave, innit? You know, the power's real. It is real. I believe in that power. All right, Dark Knight, Dave. This is the most challenging thing. Okay, Dark Knight. Now, I just might reiterate, this is not Batman. This is a person. This is not the Dark Knight Batman. All right. Anyway, sorry, another bad joke. Dave, what is the most challenging thing as a trainer? Greetings and big up to the great channel. To a great channel.
So many challenging things about a trainer. There's all sorts. That's why it's got to be. That's why the person that you're working with has to be as committed and want it to the max, because if you're a coach that wants it, but you can't want it more than your fighter. You can't have to keep mentioning, oh, you wait, make sure you go for your run, doing it. The fighter's got to want to do it, because there's so many other challenges. So many challenges, like when you're trying to teach a fighter, if they can't get it, you've got the little details, it can be just a slight alteration to the way that somebody's throwing a punch, and all of a sudden they get it and they think, oh, got it, and then they lose it, and then it's like, oh, you've got to then, once they've made that adaptation, it's then got to become consistent, where they remember how that feeling is. So then when I throw it this way, I get the best out of myself. When I throw it that way, I'm not getting it generate as much power, I'm not generating as much speed, I'm leaving myself open. The feet, there's all sorts. It's quite challenging if you're doing it right.
Would you say that the guys with the more decorated amateur career they have a better starting point for you to work with than a guy with less amateur fights?
It depends on the individual, because again, you can be doing something for years in a certain way that's just bad habits towards the pro game, and you have to, you know, it depends on the individual. That for me, it's like I'm trying to think now. Yeah, it's difficult because I've trained that many different fighters with different backgrounds and things. So it's hard. It's kind of like hard to gauge that one really because it's not really something I've thought about because I just take it one day at a time with the fighters that I'm working with right now.
What are your, this is from me to you, what are your pet hates when you see fighters do, when you see fighters doing certain things in fights? Like, I don't know, maybe they keep their hands a bit too low, or do you know what I mean? Or maybe you know what I mean?
There's no one pet hate really. It can be quite a lot of things. It can be lifting the chin up when they're throwing a jab. You know, there's quite a few. There's different things. Lifting the chin up as they're backing up. That's a bad one. As they're exiting, and lift the chin right up in air. You know, it's there's all sorts of different things.
What would you say about
that? Can we do one more question? Because apparently my dinner is ready.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, all right. The dinner's ready. All right, guys. Last question. Remember, smash that like button for Dave Coldwell. All right, one from the fans, one from me to end. You do that? All right, okay. Yeah. All right, Alpha Bell. What do you think Dillian needs to do differently for the Povetkin rematch? Speculated to be March.
Just stay switched on. That's it. He knows what he's got to do. Just stay switched on.
Right. Last question from me also as well. So Fury and AJ reportedly 95%. 95%. Yeah, that's very high.
95% is not 100%.
All right. Right. Okay. I'm just thinking a massive fight like
listen, that. That's another fight that there'll be so much talk about it, and there has already been so much talk about it. When it's made, let's talk about it and get excited. I don't want to get excited because I don't know what's happening yet. 95% is good. That's good. But it's not 100%. When it's 100%, I'll get excited about it.
All right. We've got to thank Dave Coldwell. I know we didn't get through all your questions, but I'm sure we'll do it again in the future. And
yeah, no problem.
Dave will answer as many questions as he can. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Smash that like button, subscribe. Coldwell Boxing signing out.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Nice one.